kept you waiting, huh? Oh, you scared me. What, are you serious? I was here the whole time. What, really? I didn't even notice. Never mind that. I have something to ask you. What do you think of octopus? I like them? Okay, good. It's about time I talk about this DLC. I don't know if you're expecting to see a Splatoon 2 video before a Splatoon 3 one, but here we are. There's a pretty decent amount of things included in this DLC, so there's no time to waste. I shouldn't even need to tell you that this DLC is quite old. About 5 years old. It came out on June 13, 2018. When did I make the Splatoon 2 video again? Oh. So it came out about a year after Splatoon 2. It was actually revealed not that long before its release. Hey, that makes 2 Splatoon DLCs now. Short history lesson, I know. But that should make up for the last couple of videos I made with a long one, so be thankful. Anyways, this expansion adds many interesting things to it. The most obvious one would be the inclusion of playable Octolings. That is something many people wanted since their introduction in Splatoon 1's story. And would you look at that? You can play as them now. That's pretty cool. The only differences they have to Inklings are their looks, their cephalopod form, and their voice. So it's all cosmetic changes, which makes sense. If you wanted more hairstyles in Splatoon 2, well, now you have that option by selecting the Octoling. Pretty neat. Okay, now that I've gone over the obvious addition, let me go over the real meat of this DLC. Believe it or not, the Octoling wasn't the main thing the developers wanted you to focus on for this DLC. In fact, you can't even play as the Octoling online or be in Inkopolis Square without completing something first. And that something is the Deep Sea Metro. The Octo Expansion is pretty much an expansion of more levels that could have been in the base game. However, that's only somewhat true as the map for all levels included is much bigger than the story mode one. But then again, all the levels are actually pretty short. Some would be literal seconds long while others will probably take about 3 minutes to complete. There's a wide range of levels included in this expansion. There are levels where you just have to get to the end of the level, which is a majority of them. There are Octoling levels where you play a ranked match against all Octolings. There are the challenge levels, which are pretty fun. There are the 8-ball levels where you have to guide an 8-ball to the goal. And there are the boss levels. They're just the base game bosses, but a bit tougher. Of course, you have the final level, which plays nothing like the base game. In fact, this is the longest level in this expansion pass. You're required to do a bunch of challenges before getting to the final boss, which isn't really a boss per se. I would say the semi-final boss before reaching the final boss is the real final boss. These levels are so much fun, and you'd see this formula used in a future Splatoon game. But that's spoilers for the review I'll make on it soon. Give me 1 month, I promise. The way the levels would play out is, first, you select the level you want to play. Next, when you enter the level, you're required to select the weapon you want. If you notice in some levels, depending on the weapon you choose, you'll get a bigger or smaller reward. That's this game's way of signifying the difficulty of a level with a certain weapon. And I'll tell you, some of these levels get really hard with that option. I would know because I beat every level with the hardest option. It was fun. For the most part. I totally wasn't crying through every level. But that actually is a great way to include difficulty into the game. In fact, everything about how this story mode was handled outshines the original Splatoon 2 story mode. It's much easier to 100% the levels this time around. And I forgot to mention this, but every time you enter a level, you must pay a fee with the currency you get from the story mode. So make sure you have enough to even play a level. The hub world for this DLC is pretty small compared to the base game. But that's fine as the way you select levels is different from the base story. The entire story takes place at a metro station. Yes, even the levels are actually connected to the metro as metro stops. Attention to detail, eh? But when you're not in a level, you can be in 2 other places. Either the central station, which is where the story starts, or in the metro itself. In the metro, there are a couple of people you can interact with. There's the conductor of the metro, a sea cucumber, and there's an isopod who asks you to give them some candy when you have a full set of them. You can get a full set by completing a full set of levels from the Metro line. When you talk to him, he gives you some gear you get after you beat the DLC. The Sea Cucumber gives you some credit every time you find a new Metro line. There are a couple of things you can do at the central station as well. After you beat the DLC, or when you get all the pieces of the blender, you can play the last level. If you go towards the locker area, you can rematch Agent 3 for a cool reward. And if you go to the vending machine, you can get extra rewards by exchanging mem tokens given by the Sea Cucumber. But that pretty much does it for everything this DLC offers. Now, music is interesting. Of course, the only music added to this DLC is for the story mode, so don't expect anything for the multiplayer. I wouldn't say it's bad, but dang, some of these songs really gave me PTSD. It's like if I hear a certain song in a level, you just know what you're going to be in for. But I can definitely say that this is Splatoon music, alright, quirky and wacky as ever. My favorite would have to be Fly Octo Fly. Pretty fun to listen to, especially at the fact that it goes to another song right after the timer reaches 1 minute in the level. It's so great. Now here comes the fun part. There is indeed a story in this DLC, and this one actually makes no sense, but a lot of sense at the same time. So it starts out with the phone being like, please bring me some pieces of a blender so you can get out of this metro station. So that's where the metro comes in, as you're making your way through these metro lines to find the blender pieces. That's where you meet the conductor, Sea Cucumber the Sea Cucumber. This guy always talks about getting to the promised land. You can get a device that allows you to select the station that you want to go to. But before that, Captain Cuttlefish, yes, he was always here, tried to contact Callie and Marie, but ended up somehow reaching Pearl and Marina.
Oh, so that's why they were in the base game story.
Let's skip to the part where you get all the pieces. Now let me ask you a quick question. What do blenders do? Well, for all I know, they won't take you out of a metro station. So you see where this is going, right? Agent 8, which is the code name for your Octoling, and Captain Cuttlefish both get into the blender, thinking they will get out. Oh well, who would have expected this to happen in a kid's game? Oh wait, never mind. Agent 3 just crashed into it recklessly, breaking you out. But it kinda looked funny how Agent 3 just breaks in and knocks themselves out. So Agent 8 and Cuttlefish make their way out of the station using the hole Agent 3 made and go through a bunch of tasks. But somewhere in between, you have to fight a mind-controlled Agent 3. After the fight, you find out the thing controlling Agent 3 was a piece of goo from an AI made 12,000 years ago. Splatoon lore is deep. Pearl and Marina come to get you before you know that though. The AI calls itself Commander Tartar and is what the phone was. So Tartar's plan was to destroy all cephalopod society to restore humanity. But to defeat the AI, you must ink the entire statue it's in by blowing up the hyper bombs. This level is pretty fun, but I have to admit, I died in this level more times than I should have. How is that possible? By falling into the water. There's actually a pretty dark cutscene if you lose. Once you complete the inking, Pearl uses her own version of the killer whale called the Princess Cannon. That ends up making a horrifying scene, not gonna lie. And that's how Octolings ended up showing up in Inkopolis Square.
Why was this story so much darker than it should be?
This DLC has made a wonderful formula for Splatoon. Making Portal-style levels was so much better than the base game levels in Splatoon 1 and 2. The aesthetic of these levels were much darker than the base game levels, but it makes sense as this is supposed to take place at an underground metro station. Have you noticed the amount of 8s being referenced in this DLC? There was a great treat included in this DLC, and it was the chat logs that Pearl, Marina, and Captain Cuttlefish would have every now and then. For one, this DLC made me like Pearl and Marina more than before. They're just a great pair, and with Cuttlefish there, it's just very amusing. There was some lore given here as well, like the fact that Marina used to be an Octoling soldier but ended up getting cleansed by listening to Katamari incantation. It's so fun reading through these, and I would recommend you to get this DLC just for this alone.
The Octo Expansion is probably the best of the 3 DLC I mentioned in Season 1. Yeah, quite a while ago. I really enjoyed this DLC and would easily recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it out yet. I know Splatoon 2 is pretty much old news at this point, but I promise you, you'll enjoy this DLC if you want a better Splatoon 2 story mode experience. I am so excited for what the future of Splatoon has in store. Well, at least I don't have to worry about making another DLC video for a while. What? There was one announced for Splatoon 3? Well, looks like I'll be locked in this DLC Inferno for a while.